what is the order flow like? What are people? I mean, I'm assuming there's a lot of buying, but take it from there and let us know what you're seeing from your side.
Sure. The buying pressure is extreme, and the desire to pull funds out of the banking system is unlike anything I've ever seen. It's almost to the brink of paranoia when you talk to people. They just want out of the bank now.
Well, hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you for Arcadia Economics. And quite a lot going on out there in the world, so we're doing our best to keep this one quick today. I am joined by Andy Schectman of Miles Franklin. It's been a while since we've had Andy on the show, but obviously the silver world on fire. Paper silver getting pummeled. Certainly a much different story in the physical market. So, Andy, first of all, welcome on in. Great to have you back on the air. How are you today?
Chris, thanks for having me. It's great to be back. I miss being here. I'm great, thanks. Hope you are too.
Well, I appreciate that. And I don't know if I mentioned it much, but we actually are planning quite the Super Bowl-like coverage of the festivities because, Andy, you realize that we're on the one-year anniversary of Silver Squeeze?
Yeah, it was the craziest weekend of my life, honestly. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this weekend brings. And if needed, I will be part of the all hands on deck on any coverage that you bring to the world this weekend.
Well, we're going to have a weekend-long party, and I'm sure we'll see you there because there's so much to discuss. We had this event last year, and we won't go into the details of that because I want to get to the order flow, but just to set the context, we had this event last year, and keep in mind, silver was a lot higher then. It was $27 going into this date a year ago. People were buying the heck out of silver. The dealers got blown off that weekend, and we're going to rebroadcast the coverage. So people, whether it's people seeing it for the first time or people like me who have been studying it, trying to figure out what happened because it's that same pattern of something happens, it didn't go away, it didn't get resolved. And I don't know that I've ever seen more pressure on the silver market than where we are right now, especially given what's happening in the world. So if the LBMA admitted they were about to run out of metal last year, and we think about what's happened since then, that's what we'll be digging into this weekend. But, Andy, with all that said, perhaps on the briefer side today, what is the order flow like? What are people? I mean, I'm assuming there's a lot of buying, but take it from there and let us know what you're seeing from your side.
Sure. The buying pressure is extreme, and the desire to pull funds out of the banking system is unlike anything I've ever seen. It's almost to the brink of paranoia when you talk to people. They just want out of the bank now. And the problem is that in all the years I've done this, and I've been talking about this a lot lately, in all the years I've done this, I've never seen more difficulty getting physical product. The UK Mint ran out of blanks about 60 days ago, somewhere in that neighborhood, and still have not ramped up or distributed the 2022 Britannias that we purchased 2 months ago. The Austrian Mint claims that they were hit by Omicron, and they as well are 30-plus days back-ordered. We purchased a ton of Philharmonics over a month ago. Haven't heard a word about those yet either. It's been well documented that the U.S. Mint is the model of inefficiency, with premiums still above $8 an ounce on Silver Eagles, and it's been 2 years since they've come anywhere near this. This is the lowest they've been in 2 years, and they're still almost 3 times higher than I've ever sold them for. The Royal Canadian Mint is also incredibly inefficient, with premiums still double what they've been my entire career, with massive delays in getting 2022 silver maple leafs. It's spilling into the rounds and the bars. We've talked a lot about junk silver, emblematic of the fact that nobody sells anything. Junk silver's become not only difficult to get, but premiums over $5 an ounce. That is 3 times as high as I've ever sold it for. So you have crazy demand meeting very, very well, I'd say extreme tightness, not only in the wholesale, but definitely in the retail market as well. So These are as crazy at times as I've ever experienced in 32 years of owning Miles Franklin, Chris.
Yeah, you're answering a bunch of the questions I have here, especially because Rafi Farber had mentioned yesterday during his silver report that the premiums on junk silver had been shooting back up. And can you just repeat that again? You said they were 3 times as high as you've ever seen them. Is that, and maybe also compare where they were last year on Silver Squeeze weekend when that was happening?
So premiums last year, Chris, right around this time on junk silver were under $2 an ounce. In fact, we were running specials at like $1.60 an ounce in December. So just prior to this, they are 2.5 times what they were then. The term junk silver gets its name, pre-65 silver, the term junk gets its name from the fact that it always had the greatest value to the consumer. The junk means it never carried a premium above its melt value. And now it's the most expensive item we have with the exception of Silver Eagles. This is emblematic of the fact that the secondary market is definitely not selling going back to dollars. They're trying to get their hands on anything silver-wise. So the secondary market is gone, and the primary market is sputtering literally with 3 of the 4 cylinders choking and the 4th cylinder trying its hardest to keep up, and it's not a good situation.
And again, can you repeat what the premiums on junk silver are now as compared to a year ago today?
2.5 times. They're over $5 an ounce right now. They were under $2 an ounce a year ago. So as the price has fallen, in this case by $4 an ounce, over $4 an ounce, the premiums have gone up commensurate with the fall in the price of silver. In other words, the market's saying the price is the same it was last year this time, even though it's over $4 cheaper.
If somebody calls you right now and says, I want 1,000 ounces of silver, how does that conversation play out?
Well, we can do it. It's just the options, the choices that one used to have are really not even close. We have things that they can buy, but the premiums are higher and the selection is a third or less of what it normally is, unless you're willing to purchase and wait. In other words, do what we had to do. We purchased from the UK Mint. We purchased from the Austrian Mint. And between the two, if you add the two together, we're talking almost 90 days of purchasing without any product in hand. So if people are willing to purchase with the understanding that it could be a week, it could be a month on some of these items, that's where we're at. If they don't mind paying higher premiums on Silver Eagles or junk silver or silver maple leafs, we do have some. But again, it's just a situation where the choices are limited, the prices are higher, and that's kind of the reality we've seen for 2 years.
And perhaps last question for now. Fortunately, again, we'll have coverage all weekend long on the Arcadia Silver Network. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell right now so you can stay posted. Andy, I will leave aside the CNBC topic we discussed earlier, which I think, can you confirm that I'm trying to actually do the most appropriate thing. I mean, there's a lot going on behind the scenes and we have limited time here. Is that a fair way of phrasing that as we, before I launch into my last question here?
Oh, it's totally. You've had so many of these things that you find out before the rest of us do, and makes me very anxious to see how things unfold this weekend. So yes, it's very fair.
Well, there you go. I suppose that's what I wanted to hear. How do you think? I mean, I've been studying this for almost 15 years, but especially since last year where you had Silver Squeeze. You remember a year ago after it happened and everything that happened the following week, and then when we saw those numbers that they reported adding into SLV saying that's not possible. Now, you've seen some other things that I am not able to share publicly yet that explain certain parts of that. And in the end, they wrote the report saying they were running out of metal. They were weeks away as long as nobody ever talked about silver again. Here we go. And now here we are. Look at what's happened in the world a year later. Silver's down was like $5 lower than it was last year going into silver squeeze. We're getting regular 7, 8, 9, 10% inflation reports. People actually are dying. There's never been more debt or less confidence in U.S. cash or leadership or any of the powers or systems that are running the state of the world. So any thoughts on what we might be seeing this weekend?
Yeah, well, I think the one thing people always talk about, what makes the dollar so strong, is its confidence. And I totally agree with you. You watch our leadership and you cringe. I do. I'm embarrassed by it. And so when you put it all together with massive inflation, the 7% inflation is, as you know, John Williams has shown us, is half of what it really is. 15% if we calculate it via the 1980 standard before they changed it. With inflation running as high as it is, with the supply running as short as it is, with the understanding globally due to cryptocurrencies and silver squeeze and guys like you, the understanding of the value of silver is crazy. I think if we see any further erosion of confidence, along with a greater awakening in the value that you find in silver, it ought to, I'll put it to you this way, it ought to make Silver Squeeze 1 seem timid and tame, and it was the craziest 72 hours I've ever experienced in my life. And so I will simply say to you that the backdrop is primed for something like we saw then, but on steroids perhaps. And so I'm on pins and needles if you want to know the truth.
Well, I'm fascinated to see how it plays out, and in either case, we'll be reviewing a lot of this whole saga that took place last year that many people don't even know about. It's been surreal for me because I've been busy continuing to investigate and then feeling somewhat forced to leave for my own safety as I see these things going on. And it's like I've finally been catching my breath in the last couple of weeks a little bit. And then it's just surreal how this is all unfolding. So anyway, Andy, I appreciate that update. And if folks have questions, or if someone, again, not legal licensed financial advice, but if somebody does want to purchase physical silver, probably not the day to call and get general questions answered, but is there a special or anything for people who do want to purchase physical silver given the conditions going on right now?
Yeah, first, all they need to do is send an email to info@Miles Franklin and put Arcadia Economics in the subject line, and we promise to give your listeners the very best price in the United States. We do have specials right now on 2022 Silver Krugerrands Limited. We also are running specials on the 2022 Silver Eagle at $8.45 over spot. That's what I was talking about by the high premiums, but that should be the best price in the country. But no matter what we have, or no matter what your listeners are looking for, send an email, info@Miles Franklin. We will send your listeners, whoever emails, a updated inventory and promise to give them the very best price in the United States. And it's just my way of saying thank you for all the work that you're doing for this industry. We all owe you a debt of gratitude, Chris. You're doing an amazing job.
Well, I'll look forward to seeing you and anybody else who wants to dig into what's going on. It sure feels like it's coming to a culmination. It's always felt like a Ponzi scheme that you can only keep silent. And but anyway, to answer questions and try and figure it out, and we'll have a whole bunch of Silver Celebrity All-Star lineup guests joining us. It'll be like Silverfest, but it'll be Silver Bowl too. So a lot of good stuff coming. I hope everybody is well and safe out there, whether it's the physical issues or just the mental challenge of handling all these things that are going on. Perhaps not the easiest times, but in either case, Andy, I appreciate you making a few minutes here. I'm going to go get this queued up so people can hear it shortly, and I'll look forward to seeing you sometime this weekend.
You got it, brother. I look forward to it. I hope everyone stays well also, and thanks for letting me be here, Chris. I'll see you this weekend.